Thank you for watching. I'm John Razimus. This is Pyramidikal. I want to make this video because I believe there's a lot of misconceptions about the sign of silence. You've seen it. It looks like this. It's seen as an Illuminati symbol, symbolism that the elite show off on the cover of magazines. I don't know what those people experienced, and I don't know why they're doing it. Perhaps even the photographer is telling them to do this pose, it'll look really good. We don't know the context, but I'm going to focus on the paranormal aspects of this. This channel focuses on the occult, the paranormal, and there definitely is something paranormal too. That it has a history as old supposedly as Egypt. It was picked up by the magical lodges, and from generation to generation they've used it in initiation ceremonies, and who knows really why they do it. They pretty much do it like a telephone game, just repeating what the previous generation did it for. And so I suppose there are a lot of symbols and symbolism in these different lodges here and there that aren't purposefully told the answer to. They want the best and the brightest, the symbolism prodigies, to come forward and decipher what that is. But I've really been thinking about the sign of silence. Some people call it the vow of silence. And let me just talk about two versions. There is a magical version. Let me pick one institution to give an example. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. There are different branches all over the place, and I'm sure there's disputes on who's the real order. There's one in San Francisco ran by the Imperator David Griffin. So let's just focus on David Griffin, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. He has a YouTube channel, he has a website, he teaches about the ancient mysteries from his perspective and from what I'm sure he's learned over the many years of people that have handed it down. And according to David Griffin, you put one of your feet forward while you're standing, and I'm not going to do it because I personally don't believe in practicing magic, but doing this is not magic. And he says you lift your left hand and you put it on your mouth like this, and he says you think of being in a protective shield, and a protective shield protects you, and you're protected. Yeah.
We teach defense against dark sorcery and psychic vampirism from the very beginning. Each new initiate learns how to raise an energetic shield for protection against dark sorcery and psychic vampirism. Once deployed, this magical shield seals your aura with an impenetrable barrier of concentrated Lux energy. To raise this Lux shield, in the Golden Dawn, we assume a position. It's called the sign of silence. To assume this position and use the sign of silence and raise an energetic protection shield, it's really simple. You raise your left index finger to your lips while you simultaneously stamp your left foot. At the same time, you visualize yourself inside a protective egg of pure white light. And imagine that light getting thicker and thicker until it's tough as steel, like this. When you use the sign of silence, you won't see any special effects. But the energetic protection works just the same. With practice, you can even raise an energetic shield using the powers of visualization alone. The sign of silence is a powerful first step.
That's just one of the magic spells from these different organizations. That's just an example of one of them. He claims it's just for protection. He claims it uses Luke's energy, which is some type of magical energy. It gives you an actual force field if someone wants to attack you, I guess, using magic. In the video, he was talking about black magic magician E.A. Coetting and how he could potentially be one of the most dangerous people ever. And then he uses this sign of silence as an example of how you can protect yourself against such black magic practitioners. I guess in the future, I should make a video on my opinion concerning protecting yourself. But in this video, I just want to give an explanation from my perspective of what this means. Because this is a symbol, and it means more than just protection. I don't even believe it means protection, other than maybe in a weird perspective. Here is my analysis and deciphering of what this symbol means. You can see this symbol all over the place. It's an ancient occult symbol. It's even featured in the movie starring Johnny Depp entitled The Ninth Gate. One of the woodcuts has a really elaborately drawn character doing this. Those woodcuts were actually made independent of the movie, and when the director saw them, he wanted to put them in the movie really bad. He wanted to make them a main piece of the movie, and obviously they are, and they became the main plates. So, people are going to claim, ooh, it's really dark and creepy because of that, or because of the different lodges or institutions or the magic spell. But I'm going to talk about my personal deciphering of the symbol, my personal opinion of it. Give a little background. I have been contacted in the past, in the year 2010 and 2011, being the most frequent contacts. 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16. I have been vaguely bothered here and there, but pretty much not bad at all. So 2010 and 2011 were the height of the attacks and the harassment that I had from negative entities. Someone recently commented, what's a negative entity? They probably don't believe in it. If you're an atheist and you don't believe they exist, just indulge me and watch some of my videos where I explain what happened to me in Santa Maria, California. I was visited by, just spontaneously, an entity appeared in my room. It was invisible, 100% invisible. But with 3 of my senses, I sensed its presence. 3 of my senses. We got smell, taste, touch, hear, feel, and then there's a 6th sense, which I consider to be spirit energy, being able to feel spirit energy, or perhaps some people can see spirits. I cannot see spirits. Anyway, 3 of my senses, I sensed a negative entity of epic proportions, not to in any way, shape, or form exaggerate what happened. I'm not exaggerating. This entity was pure evil, pure hatred, and I don't even want to talk about it. Let's just skip. That's just some background. So what do I think the sign of silence is? The sign of silence is you now know. You now know demonic entities are real and they exist. Stay quiet if you want people to take you seriously. Stay quiet if you want to keep the secret and gain success. Stay quiet if you want people to think you're sane. Stay quiet. It's a pressure put upon people who have an experience such as mine, where I had an encounter with a demonic entity, a high-ranking, extremely evil one. Now, the reason I call it high-ranking is because in 2011, I was harassed by a poltergeist entity, which I would consider to be imp-like, heavy enough to push down pillows a couple inches and knock down objects and push down objects. And the entity jumped on me, and I had a feeling it was the size of a child or a large monkey. And I can't go into extreme detail. I'm writing a book on the subject because I think it's that important. But the sign of silence, the vow of silence, is a pressure put upon people that have supernatural experiences. I know for a fact the devil is real. Or I know for a fact, evil entities are real. Opening of the third eye, you can see, perhaps not with your eyeballs, but you can see with your brain things you didn't notice before, things in corners of rooms. And in no way, shape, or form have I ever wanted to keep the secret. I immediately spilled the beans to people. My roommate, I said, hey, there's a poltergeist harassing me in my room. Is there a poltergeist in your room? Is the poltergeist leaving my room and ever bothering you? Is a question I asked him. And he said, no, man, no. He said, I have a lot of dreams about demons and angels, but other than that, no. I was like, whoa, that's creepy. You have dreams about demons and angels? And he talked to me at length about that, how he's a big fan of Stephen King and how he writes books about demons and angels. And I don't know if he was a conduit in any way, shape, or form accidentally to the poltergeist that was in my room. I could say the other roommate was a sushi chef, which was hardly ever there. I doubt he was a conduit. But I think it's possible this demon and angel dream guy was. Now, he was a nice guy, a very nice guy. In no way, shape, or form am I saying most definitely he was a conduit. Perhaps I was the conduit. Perhaps the room, the piece of land, was the principality owned by a demon prince who assigned an imp demon to harass me. But the sign of silence is don't talk about it. You now have seen a demonic entity manipulate your world, manipulate your reality. You know, you've sensed it with 3, 4, 5 of your senses. You know it's real, it's not a joke, it's not fake. Are you going to keep quiet about it? I think there's a pressure. I've never been in any initiatory process concerning magical initiations of ascending the flames and the third eye opening up and me having full-blown contact on a daily basis with demonic entities or ascended masters or aliens. A lot of people call them extraterrestrials when they're not. We naturally drift into the astral realm occasionally while we're in the REM sleep or dreaming. When you wake up and you had an extremely lucid, vivid dream, there's a chance you were in the astral realm. It's the place between the dimensions, between the third / fourth and the fifth. And I'm going to talk about the astral realm in the future. So I personally believe the sign of silence involves when someone ascends to a certain height, let's say a celebrity. I've never been there, so I can only speculate. Let's say Jack Nicholson met an entity that promised him riches and fame, manifested in his room as a smoke, turned into a humanoid and said, hey, you want to make a deal? The only catch is you can't tell anybody this deal took place. You can't ever mention my existence. You got to keep quiet till your grave. Otherwise, grave consequences are in store. And Jack Nicholson's like, sure. Now, this is just a theoretical scenario. I'm a fan of Jack Nicholson. As you can see, The Shining, yeah. That's a theoretical scenario of what it could be in other people's lives. But as far as my life, I've personally witnessed hundreds of objects moving in my room, flying off the shelves, things being stepped on, sat on, everything in my room being sat on, with that creak that you hear when something is sat on. So that's what I believe the sign of silence is. I know for 100% personal fact, I'm not in the realm of believing that demon entities or fifth dimensional entities exist. I know for 100% personal fact, as I've said in the past, someone could threaten to kill me. Someone could go, hey, deny that you ever saw that or heard about that. You're a liar. I'll say, you know what? It happened. I can't deny it. I'm never going to deny it. That's the 100% truth. So as far as this, I obviously failed the Illuminati test, if there is one. The word Illuminati is thrown around so often that it's almost lost its meaning entirely. When I use the term Illuminati, I'm not talking about 1776. I'm talking about a generic term representing the elite, either humans or demonic entities. And I will talk about my theories concerning that in the future. the sign of silence means more than just, here's a symbol proving I'm a secret Illuminati, yeah. It means you've had a super powerful supernatural experience and you're under a pressure to a certain extent to never tell anybody about it. Perhaps Bob Dylan experienced something like that. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but Bob Dylan said he made a deal with the chief of the unseen world, with the invisible world.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And on this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
The entities that bothered me, they were always invisible, because I didn't have optically the ability to see them.
I mean, he said once that he's from a land where wizards actually exist, and I thought,
But they do.
Oh.
There are wizards in this room right now. Okay?
As don't we now. But I guess you're right.
No, I mean, he's talking about the world you can't see.
Oh.
And that's definitely true.
Okay. Well,
Everything you see in the world around you is only 1% of what actually exists. But we don't have to get into that conversation right now. We don't want to frighten the audience.
Let's put that off. Yeah.
And on this earth, and then in a world we can't see.
He's talking about the world you can't see.
Oh.
And that's definitely true.
Okay. Well,
Everything you see in the world around you is only 1% of what actually exists.
I believe I've seen them in the astral, dreamlike state, or when I'm maybe half awake. I saw what one's face looked like, or what it wanted me to see, which gets in the realm of, yes, they can put on masks and appear as anything. They can appear as an extraterrestrial, and I believe they fooled many down that road. But that's my opinion, that's my analysis on what the actual explanation of the sign of silence, or the vow of silence. I thank you for watching. This has been John Razimus with Pyramidikal. Be seeing you.
Subscribe.